The 90s had to be the best decade for gaming, and I'm not talking about the PlayStation 1 or the N64. In my case, I played a lot of console games growing up, but I also played a lot of PC games. I'm talking about first-person shooters like Quake 1, Quake 2, Doom, Wolfenstein 3D, the list goes on and on. You had Unreal Tournament and Half-Life towards the late 90s, and I love those games because it was my first time being able to be inside this world and being the character, because up until that point, at least in my case, I was the character or playing as the character, but I'd be moving side to side. And it was the first-person shooter genre that first showed me that the gun can be right in front of you. And it's how you move around that world with the music, with the graphics. Some of the games had 3D models, others, like Duke Nukem 3D, they had the pseudo 3D style. I don't even know if that's how you say it, but it was a 3D environment, but you had these sprite-based characters moving around. So when I was browsing Steam and I saw this game called Ion Maiden, and I hit play and I watched the trailer, my first thought was, wait, this looks a lot like Duke Nukem 3D. It was an early access game, I had never heard about it, but I saw that it was created with the build engine, which if you don't know what it is, it was the original engine used for games like Duke Nukem 3D. The best part was that it was $20 in early access. I hit the purchase button, I played the game, I actually played it as part of an Extra Life Marathon originally, but I wanted to have another experience to complete this, because even though it is early access right now, you get a relatively complete experience because it comes with a preview campaign. Now, I don't know if any of this is going to be part of the final product, but I love the fact that instead of giving you a chunk, they're actually giving you one cohesive experience that you can play from beginning to end. You have some additional play modes as well, but admittedly I played those for like 5 minutes because I just wanted to go into a single player story that was super simple, super direct, and that it paid tribute to the games of the 90s. So in this game you play as Shelly Bombshell Harrison, a bomb disposal expert for the Global Defense Force. When an evil doctor creates a cybernetic army to destroy the world, she, according to the Ion Maiden website, decides it is time to start chucking bombs rather than defusing them. This game doesn't feel like it's just paying tribute to the 90s because there's a bunch of those games out there, whether they're 3D, 2D, 8-bit, 16-bit, doesn't matter the generation or the console, it feels like it would be right at home if it came out in the 90s. And with that, we have to talk about how the game looks, because this right here is a visually stunning game that, although it's simplistic due to it being a tribute to 90s first-person shooters, everything about it looks crisp and colorful. I especially love the enemies that have a red suit. They look like they could be right out of a Star Wars film, and the fact that it's that really bright red color just makes them pop out. And just like Duke Nukem 3D, the enemies are not 3D models. They are animated 2D models that move around and give that illusion of 3D movement and graphics. Now with this part right here, I guess the opinion can be dramatically different between you and me, because for me, I grew up in the 90s, so when I watch something like this, immediately I go, yes, this is what I remember, but it looks even better than it did back in the day, kind of like Dragon Ball FighterZ, right? It's based on the anime, but it looks a lot better and crisper and clearer now than the original anime did back in the day. So say you're somebody that grew up playing Call of Duty, the modern ones, and Battlefield with these huge spectacles. You could be looking at this right now and going, I don't get what the big deal is, because why do they not have 3D models? This just looks a little bit awkward. So depending on your generation and depending which was the first console that you played, and if you did or did not play first-person shooters in the 90s, what do you think about the way this game looks? Do you think it looks pretty? Because I think it does, but I know there's going to be people that just go like, nuh-uh, I need me some more details, this is clearly not enough for me. Something else I gotta bring up that's a big deal with 90s first-person shooters is the sound and the soundtrack. Because when I go back to Quake, the first thing I remember is when they had the demo of the game playing, you would always hear the grenade launcher, and you would hear the sound of the grenade bouncing, and the zombie-like enemies just sort of making their and the jumping like the With this game, I love the soundtrack because even though it's not amazing, I can't say it's the best thing ever. It is very good and it gets the job done. It's got this techie, very bassy feel. I'm really bad at explaining music, so I'm just gonna say it's good, and I'm gonna play a sound clip and you be the judge. And a question you may have is, how does the game feel? Because we've talked about the graphics and how the game sounds, but when you actually hold it with a mouse and keyboard, and perhaps a controller. Once it's out of early access, it should be out for the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch, and it feels great. The shotgun has got to be one of my favorite weapons in any first-person shooter, be it single player, multiplayer. I just love the shotgun. Even in PUBG, I try to use the shotgun whenever possible. And when I grabbed it and I shot, the enemies went down. That is my technical way of describing how does the game feel. When you shoot the enemy goes down. I don't feel like there's a delay. I don't feel like they're spongy. If you don't like the bullet sponge games like Gears of War, which I love, but I know it's still not everybody's cup of tea, and you just want something where you shoot, you kill, and you keep going, Ion Maiden, people. This game is for you. And once you've gotten the car keys, you've killed all sorts of enemies, you went down to the sewers, you were just close to dying, but you were able to find a couple of secrets that improved your armor and raised your health. At the very end of the preview campaign, you have yourself a giant mech as the boss battle. And I love that because it's just giant spectacle. You have this big circular area in a downtown environment, and it is really difficult. The first time that I battled him, I died almost immediately because he gives you a lot of damage. And for context, I played the preview campaign in normal difficulty. And then because everything was failing, I was like, okay, Juan, you have grenades, you've barely used them. And by barely, I mean I hadn't used them at all. So I actually put them to use. I chugged one, and it's a little weird, and admittedly it's a gripe I have with the game, which is for a grenade explosion expert, all she does is kind of just throw them like this. Even if you hold a button expecting her to just really throw it out there, you know, like a baseball game, that doesn't happen. So a lot of the times, especially during the boss battle, I would just have the grenade be thrown, but it's thrown right back at me. So if there's something that I recommend the developers look at and possibly modify, it's instead of this, like, she can probably do this. It's a grenade, it's not that heavy, and it gets the job done. But once I got over that, I was able to quickly put him away with the grenade. So if you haven't played this and you're contemplating playing it, which I assume you're doing so because you're watching this right now, and it's a really good game, grenades, save them and use them. Did I have fun with this game? Undoubtedly yes. And here's the sad part. So I got it with early access, right? So the whole thing is that once the full version of the game is out, I just have it and I can play it. My first instinct after the campaign was, okay, so where do I go buy it? It's like, Juan, that's not how early access works. I don't know what the full price of the final product is going to be, but the fact that at 20 bucks I love this, and then I get to experience more because it should be coming out this year, second quarter 2019. So I'll keep you guys posted on social media. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook. So the moment that they notify when the official release date comes out, I'll keep you posted because I'm definitely going to play this on PC because I have this version. But I really want to know, what did you think of this game? Do you think more games should follow this format? Because first we had it with the roguelikes and the games that are Metroidvania, but then we got like 1,000 of those games. And we are not done, folks, because I have one bonus question for you. So a couple of days ago, I went to Twitter and I asked people, okay, when you play some of them video games, what is the difficulty that you tend to choose and why? For this run, I played normal and I died a couple of times. Admittedly, it was primarily during the boss battle, but I still had a challenge. I still had to go out there and get some health. But I know that some people have to play in hard or New Game Plus. Once you get the regular experience out of the way, you go back in because it's even more difficult. But on the other side of the spectrum, I know that some people just like to play easy because they just want to experience the world. To them, video games and playing video games is not about the challenge, but more so the experience. So I am going to be working on a video about this down the line. I was actually going to batch record it today alongside this video that I'm recording. But I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to give me your feedback because I would like to include that in the actual video. Plus, more so than just me presenting, kind of like I'm doing right now, I can actually sit down, react, and even though we're not having a live conversation, it's almost like we're going back and forth because I can read your comments. I have plenty of them from Twitter, and I'm also going to bring those in, so I'm very excited for that. So consider subscribing to the channel, give me that notifications, hit that bell, because if you hit that bell, YouTube actually show up in your subscribers feed. And thank you so much to everybody that's been watching the channel as a result of the PS2 video, all of the videos that are definitely peaking, and they're doing very good because I've gone up a lot of subscribers quite recently. As of the recording of this video, I've yet to hit 1,000, and it's just overwhelming. Seriously, thank you. I love doing this. I have fun working on these videos. Hopefully you enjoy watching them. And never forget, folks, that this video has concluded, but the epic journey most definitely continues. So thank you for watching, gang. Take care. That's another good question. What should I do once I reach 1,000 subscribers? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Q&A? I don't know. Just comments. Give me ideas. I got nothing right now. I'm just being real. Thanks for watching.